After watching the first 2 episodes of Hiking Essential, you now know what gear to wear and the type of hikes you want to choose. You are now ready to step out to explore. But stop, not yet. Not until you watch this episode of choosing the right pair of shoes for your hike. It is important you choose the best hiking boots or trail shoes that are perfect fit for your feet and are designed for your intended purpose. Do not choose one just because your hiking buddy or the magazine article or an online review said that the shoe was great. Let's go back to Decathlon Jukun where Sujan will go through with you the essential of picking the right pair of hiking shoes.
Hi guys, welcome back again to Decathlon. So today we'll talk about shoes. It's actually my favorite subject because a lot of us like to choose a different type of shoe for different occasion. But do you know that when you actually go for hiking, not only the color but also the type of shoe is very important to keep your feet healthy and how long do you want to hike without injury, okay? So let's go through on a different type of shoe first, something very basic. So we have 3 different types that we actually take a look at. First is the low cut, mid cut, and high cut. Okay. So first, I will take this one. Okay. So this is a mid cut shoe. You can see here. And then we have the my sizing is okay. This is a low cut. Low cut. You can see compare. And lastly, okay, here we go. This is one of the better looking one. You can see here, this is the high cut shoe. Okay, so explain further later on why we choose all these different shoes. Okay, guys, so we have done our shopping for the shoe earlier. As I said, we'll go through the different type of shoe. When we choose our shoe for our hiking, we need to consider a few different things. Okay. First, what is our budget? How expensive it is? So it again depends on the material. Then we actually also have the different material from the shoe itself. We also have the different type: high cut, mid cut, and low cut. I will go through the first pair. The first pair is actually a low cut, and it's actually also made of the cheapest material. Usually it's synthetic, fully synthetic. Okay, they are actually quite breathable because there is all this mesh, but they are not durable because they are actually soft. If you actually go to a hiking where the area is very rough, the trail is very rough, there's a lot of roots, there's a lot of sands and all that, you actually wear off quite fast. Second choice is this material. They tend to be either half leather, it's a split grain leather, usually a half leather mixed with a synthetic, or it could be it's a synthetic leather or synthetic material that is heavily reinforced. One example, most popular example would be a Gore-Tex material. They're actually some kind of synthetic membrane that is heavily reinforced. They come usually relatively lightweight, but they are not as durable as a full leather. A full leather usually is the most durable. The downside of the full leather is that they tend to be very hard to break in. So all these models, usually if you use it for a long hike, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours is okay. But if you use a full leather shoe like right away off the shelf, you actually will get a lot of abrasion. You will get actually blister everywhere. So again, synthetic, not as durable, and as you go to leather, it becomes more durable. That's one thing that you can use as a way to choose the material. Okay, and another thing, as I said, low cut, mid cut, and high cut. So as you can see here, I'm wearing a very high cut. And you can see here, it's actually wrapped nicely around my ankle. A high cut shoe gives you the best protection for the ankle. It's usually meant for a track which is long, on a very unstable terrain, and you're carrying a heavy weight, so that if you accidentally slip and you twist, you don't actually twist your ankle so easily. Mid-cut again comes somewhere in between. It gives you some form of a protection for the ankle and give you a little bit more flexibility. Of course, the low cut will be the most flexible. So that's why nowadays you hear a lot of people go for the trail running. All this trail running shoe comes in somewhere in this area, so they tend to be very low cut, and they tend to be easily twist, but they give you more flexibility, but you don't carry a heavy load. Okay, so after you decide on that, the third factor that you need to consider is the sole. It's a little bit difficult to show here, but as you can see here, I will be using this as an example. Shoe has 3 layers. The top layers, again, as I said earlier, the leathers, synthetic material, or actually the somewhere in between. Then you have the mid layers, which is actually the soles. The sole determines how much cushioning you have on the shoe itself. So the heavier your load, the longer the height. Usually you choose a thicker sole. Okay, so one last important factors for choosing a hiking shoe would be the outer soles. Okay, as you can see here, the soles are designed to be grippy and high traction. So in simple term, means it doesn't easily slip. Okay, so as you can see here, this one as well, and even the low cut, all of them have the same outer soles. Okay, compare this with a running shoe. As you can see, it is mostly smooth. There is not many studs in it. Okay, so this actually meant to be little bit slippery, meaning when you run, you actually smooth and doesn't have a grip because you want to run fast. But it's different when you actually have it as a hiking shoe, where you want to get the grip. You don't want to slip in the trail. Okay. So when do we decide what kind of shoe? As we go all those factors, how do it help us to choose what kind of shoe we want to get? Again, as with layering, which we have covered previously, the most important factors, again, before you buy anything, where are you going? Again, the field of practice. It will decide what kind of shoe you want to get. Okay. For example, if you are going to place like McRitchie, you just want to start hiking locally in Pulau Ubin, McRitchie, any of the national park, you can choose something like this. It's affordable, it is cheap, it is very breathable, and it's very lightweight. Okay, you don't need all these high cut because the trail are very well maintained. Usually it's flat and it's not hardy. But what if you're going to a place like Malaysia hike, such as the G7 hike, or again going to Kinabalu? You might actually want to get one of the 2 cut here because it has a nice protection. The shoe is rugged, doesn't easily spoil. It has a nice protection for the ankle, and most importantly, these 2 models are usually has a thicker cushioning, so offer a long term, offer a long hike. And if the surface is actually very hard, you don't get your heel pain or foot pain. Okay, so as you can see here, and it's actually more weather resistant. not waterproof, but weather resistant. So if it actually have a light rain, it has some muds. They don't actually go in and cause your feet to get wet. Okay, another thing, when you again choosing shoes, once you choose your shoes is to choose your socks. Not as many variety, but there are two common choice, whether you want to wear a synthetic socks or a wool socks. Again, where are you going? Do you need the extra warm? If you are going to a tropical hiking place around the region, you can actually stick with just a lightweight synthetic material for your socks, because they are thin, they are breathable, and they are not actually very warm. You don't want your feet to start to sweat. But if you are going for, say, snow hiking, trekking in high altitude, say for example Kilimanjaro, or you are going to a places which actually has a lot of snows during winter, such as Mont Blanc, you might want to have a wool socks. But all in all being said, most important is for you to try the shoe. It's called fitting, because if the shoe doesn't fit you well, you tend to get a lot of problem during the trek. Okay, so how do you want to do the fitting? Come to Decathlon. They actually have staff to help you here to actually measure the shoe, as well as you can try out. Sometimes the shoe might look nice online, but then once it comes, it doesn't fit well. So come along to Decathlon and you can try out the shoe.
Thank you, Shu-chan, for sharing with us the tips on selecting the right pair of shoes for our hike. Now you are ready to step out of the house and explore the outdoor. In our coming episode of the Hiking Essential, we will be covering more advanced tips on how to further enjoy and maximize your hiking experience. So remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more great tips like this today. Until next week, see you! Bye!